Today, NASCAR is testing rain tires at oval tracks. The SRX takes a shot at NASCAR, and the Bristol Dirt TV numbers are in. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. I hope you all study because today's episode is all about testing. The SRX has been testing at their own dirt track the last couple of days. Today, NASCAR is testing reportedly the next gen car as well as a new tire at Martinsville. And then we're going to talk Bristol TV numbers and attendance figures, so there's some math involved. Out of the Groove is sponsored by Fram. Let's kick things off with those TV ratings. Let's just get Bristol Dirt out of our system entirely now, at least until next year. Adam Stern reports that NASCAR's first Cup Series race on dirt in more than 50 years drew a 1.8 rating and 3.114 million viewers on Fox. He also throws in that roughly 45,000 fans streamed the race on Fox's digital services. Gosh, just add this to the list of races that I wish had been run as scheduled. Going back to the 2020 Daytona 500, those TV numbers would have been crazy. This year's Daytona 500, things were looking good until the rain came. Add this one to the list because those numbers for a Monday are still pretty good. In fact, my quick research says that this is the second most viewers for a Monday race, excluding Daytona 500s, since 2014. So in the last 7 years, the only non-Daytona 500 Monday race to feature better ratings than this one was apparently the Talladega race from last summer. You know, the race that followed the noose controversy and all the public press and media attention that got. No surprise that one got a little bit better viewership than this Bristol dirt race. But still, more than 3 million viewers for a Monday afternoon race in the spring. That's not bad. It's a shame that it got rained out, of course, because those numbers would have likely been substantially higher had it been run on Sunday, but not bad, not terrible. And Marcus Smith went on Dale Jr.'s show this week and said that this race sold roughly 36,000 seats. 36,000 tickets sold at a venue that seats nearly 150,000. Of course, remember that COVID restrictions are still in play here, so that's not a bad number either. In fact, 36,000 fans, I'm not sure if all 36,000 showed up for the race on Monday when it was eventually run. I'm not sure if there were actually 36,000 fans in the stands, but if there was, I believe that would make Bristol Dirt the highest attended NASCAR race since the pandemic began, right? How many fans are at Daytona? Like 30,000? I mean, maybe it's excluding campers and stuff, so maybe total it's not the most, but as far as fans in the stands, I believe 36,000. Yeah, like Texas was around 30,000. Last year, Bristol hit 25. I don't think any other track has hit more than that. So I think Bristol Dirt perhaps was the highest attended race in over a year. Hey, that's pretty good. Clearly, Fox, NASCAR, and SMI were encouraged by what they saw this weekend and how tickets were sold and what fan response was like, because they're gonna do this all again in a year. Hopefully the weather holds up a bit better and we can get both the attendance and those TV numbers up quite a bit higher. Let's go ahead and keep talking about NASCAR for a moment before we get to the superstar racing experience. So as we talked about in yesterday's Out of the Groove, I believe, NASCAR is testing a Toyota, Ford, and Chevy specific version of the next gen car at Martinsville this week. I'm not sure if they've actually hit the track yet. Weather in Martinsville has been a bit iffy and there have not been any photos or reports surfacing that I have seen, but it's pretty exciting to see the next gen car so far along. Very soon we will see the Toyota version, the Ford version, and the Chevy version. We'll get to compare their designs very, very soon. Very excited for that. But this next gen test at Martinsville is not the most interesting test happening at that track this week. Apparently, just as I was sitting down to hit record, NASCAR revealed that they are testing rain tires at Martinsville this week. And they assured us it's not an April Fool's prank. April Fool's is tomorrow. They assured us it has nothing to do with April Fool's. This is real. This is happening per Steve O'Donnell. NASCAR today and tomorrow will be testing wet tires, rain tires, at an oval track. NASCAR's run rain tires at road courses for, I think, more than a decade now. The first time was in an Xfinity race or a nationwide race like in 2008 or 2009, I believe. So it's been a while. We've had rain tires in NASCAR. It's not a super duper new thing. We haven't seen them implemented or, needed in cup races very often. Usually the weather cooperates, but in the events that it hasn't, rain tires have come in handy. Now NASCAR is considering what many believe to be unfathomable for many, many years: rain tires at an oval. Now, if you're gonna run rain tires at any oval, the short tracks, specifically Martinsville, makes the most sense. It's the slowest track on the schedule. It kind of operates like a road course in some ways, and so it doesn't make it that surprising that NASCAR would first test rain oval tires at Martinsville of all places. But according to Steve O'Donnell, they're seriously considering implementing rain tires at ovals up to a mile in length. This is from NASCAR.com. O'Donnell indicated that if this test yields encouraging results, that competition officials could explore using the tire in damp conditions at flatter tracks up to approximately 1 mile in length, such as Phoenix or New Hampshire. Because yes, of course, weather delays are extremely frequent in the Phoenix desert. No, in all seriousness, this is pretty cool, albeit perhaps fraught with peril. NASCAR has tested rain tires at ovals in the past. I believe in the 90s was the last time they ever did this, and clearly that didn't go anywhere. Technology has improved, I would assume, in the last 20, 30 years, but hasn't improved to the point where NASCAR can safely and reliably run wet tires at ovals. Again, Martinsville, maybe a Richmond, maybe a Phoenix or a New Hampshire make the most sense because you're not planted in the corner like you are at 1.5 mile ovals where speeds are higher, G-forces are higher, the weight put on the cars is higher. I respect NASCAR for testing it, but it sounds like this test was kind of a sudden development, a sudden idea. According to NASCAR.com, Steve O'Donnell and the entire NASCAR team first had the idea to test oval rain tires again after seeing some of the rain racing at the Charlotte Roval last October. You'll remember a lot of the Xfinity race was run in very wet, sometimes harrowing weather conditions, and the Charlotte Roval spend a lot of time at high speed in the banking of the traditional 1.5 mile oval. NASCAR got their brains a spinning a little bit. Apparently that's what led to this test here at Martinsville this week. We'll see what comes out of it. Again, I'm skeptical that we see rain tires become normal at ovals anytime soon. I just feel like it's too unpredictable, and just one tire test like this, I don't think they're going to get enough data to really feel comfortable sending drivers out on tracks with this stuff under them. I could be wrong. Again, technology maybe has improved quite a bit over the years, but I don't know, it feels expensive from Goodyear and NASCAR's perspective to test all this, especially if the only track you can really use them at is Martinsville. And maybe you can use it at Richmond, maybe you can use it at Phoenix, but you're never going to need it at Phoenix. Maybe you can use it at New Hampshire, but I don't know, developing all this new stuff just so that there's 2 or 3 tracks on the schedule now that maybe rain delays won't last as long at because you can get back to racing a little bit sooner. I don't know. I don't control NASCAR in Goodyear's pocketbook, but that feels like a lot of money to spend on a not so significant problem. But hey, NASCAR continues to fight back against the weather by adding more road courses to the schedule, which you can use rain tires at. It means there are now 7 races on the schedule this year that effectively can't be rained out, or that it'll be very hard to rain out. Hey, if you can start racing in light rain at some ovals, there's a few more tracks that now will have a harder time facing weather delays. So that's better for fans and attendance. If you can get the race in close to its scheduled time, that's always great. Anything that gives NASCAR a better chance at beating the weather, I'm a fan of them trying, but I'm just a little bit skeptical about this one. I'm not sure this is going to work out all that great, but we'll wait and see how the test develops. Let me know how you guys feel about NASCAR testing rain tires at ovals. This year continues to throw surprise after surprise at us. Nothing surprises me anymore at this point. Anyway, that's enough about NASCAR for the time being. I'm sure there'll be plenty more to talk about here in the next week or two. It is an off weekend for NASCAR. No Cup, no Xfinity, no trucks this weekend. It's Easter weekend, so let's put NASCAR to the side for a moment and talk about the Superstar Racing Experience. This still ties into NASCAR, but not quite as directly. So we all know about the Superstar Racing Experience. It's that new series, the brainchild of Tony Stewart and Ray Everham. They've been developing it over the last several months. Races will be this summer on CBS Saturday nights. It's got Tony Stewart, Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott, drivers from other series like Helio Castroneves, Willie T. Ribbs, Paul Tracy, Marco Andretti. I noticed the list of drivers seems to have shrunk a little bit. At one point they had 12 or 13 on their full-time entry list. Now it's down to 10. I've heard rumors that maybe Chase Elliott will do a one-off race at the fairgrounds. I'm still hoping that Matt Kenseth races at Slinger because he will win that race, mark my words. But anyway, the driver lineup has started to shrink a little bit, but that's the series, the Superstar Racing Experience. They revealed their car for the first time a few weeks ago, and recently they've been testing it, first at asphalt ovals. Now, this week, they've been testing at dirt ovals because they have 2 dirt tracks on their schedule, Eldora and Knoxville, Iowa. You can see footage here from one of their cars slipping and sliding on the dirt earlier this week. You can see a look at one of the tires. The tire looks very, very similar to the same tires Goodyear brought for the NASCAR Bristol dirt race. The timing's a bit interesting. Of course, they would schedule their dirt test for, the day after NASCAR's big hype-up dirt event. So a little interesting there. And things got even more interesting on Twitter yesterday when the Superstar Racing Experience Twitter account took a not-so-subtle shot at NASCAR. Here's what they tweeted and then very quickly deleted. No windshield, no problem. Hashtag dirt done right. Ooh, well, they did delete it very quickly, but Come on, if you're gonna have the stones to throw that kind of shade at NASCAR, you gotta have the stones to keep the tweet up for more than 2 minutes. Clearly the SRX has taken a shot at NASCAR. You know, that shot might have landed a little bit better had this weekend at Bristol actually been a total disaster. You know, aside from the rain, which NASCAR couldn't control, you know, the race on Monday was pretty good. The clear consensus between fans, teams, competitors, even other motorsports looking in, the consensus seems to be that, hey, NASCAR handled their first dirt race in 50 years pretty darn well. That was a lot of fun. I mean, there's a reason they already announced that they're going back there next year, because this experimental race went pretty darn good. So for the SRX to take that kind of shot at NASCAR, it kind of rings hollow because, you know, dirt was done right. I think NASCAR did a pretty right job by handling that dirt event the way they did. But of course, they're also taking a shot at the windshield aspect, which Saturday, when the rain was happening, the track was moist. You remember the trucks went out for their heat race, got mud all over the windshield and over the grills, and you know they had to red flag it after one lap. Then the rain came. You know, again, I don't fault NASCAR for that. They were doing what they had to do to try and get qualifying in. It was their only shot, so I don't blame NASCAR for that. Nobody was hurt, no trucks were damaged, anything like that, so it was all fine. But clearly, that's what the SRX is. Their Twitter account, at least, is shooting at. I don't know. The SRX is an interesting series. You know, I'm excited to watch it. It's different. It'll be unique. I'm excited to tune in. But it's clear they are trying to carve out their own niche of the motorsports fan base. They're clearly trying to establish a brand for themselves, and that brand seems to be that they are the anti-NASCAR. Ignore the fact that their biggest names came from NASCAR, and if not for NASCAR, would not be the big names they are today. I'm talking about Bill Elliott, Bobby Labonte, Michael Waltrip especially. If not for NASCAR and the platform NASCAR gave all these guys, the SRX would probably not exist today. But still, anyway, it's clear that's their brand. Their brand is that we're the old school, just getting back to our roots type racing. We're the opposite of all the new things NASCAR claims to be. That's the SRX's draw. It may work. I'm not sure if it's really a successful long-term business model or branding strategy, but that's clearly their strategy at the moment. So I'm a little disappointed that they didn't leave the tweet up. If that's going to be your whole brand, leave it up, commit. Why would you delete the tweet after like 2 minutes? I mean, I may think your tweet was wrong, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep it up. It's interesting. I wonder who told them to delete it. That's interesting to me. I don't know. If the SRX really sees themselves competing directly with NASCAR, I think they've got their heads in the clouds a little bit. I applaud them for dreaming big, but they've got a ways to go. I know from things I've heard from NASCAR, they don't really see the SRX as competition. I mean, they're not going out of their way to promote the SRX, but they're not anti-SRX. I think both series, in a way, if they can kind of hold hands behind the scenes, could help each other. But maybe that's just, I don't know, goofy hippie world peace thinking on my part or something like that. Either way, Tony Stewart, we know he's had some issues with NASCAR in recent months, so we'll see what happens. Some great drama behind the scenes between NASCAR and the SRX. We'll see where it leads. SRX takes flight in June of this year. Anyway, y'all, that's all I've got. Let me know what you guys thought of that deleted tweet from the SRX. Were they in the right? Were they in the wrong? Is it smart of them to delete it, or should they have just left it up for the memes? Let me know what you guys think down below. Of course, we talked all about rain tires. We talked about TV ratings. Give me your thoughts on everything we discussed down below in the comments. That's all I've got. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. We talk NASCAR daily. As always, a huge thank you to my amazing Patreon supporters. I could not do this show without your continued support. Plenty more to come this week and next week as we get ready for Martinsville. There'll be plenty of stories, I'm sure. I will see y'all in the next episode. Thanks for watching and take care.